Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you all, wherever you may be in the world. I hope you are well. I hope you are having a great day, a great evening, or a great start to your day. My name is Lillian Mole. If this is the very first time you're watching me live on this channel, I know I do live stream on other channels, on two other non-profit channels, and this is a new baby. So please come join me, bear with me as I try to develop this, to make this grow. So help me to take the time to share this with your family and friends. Invite people to come have a conversation here on this platform. This is going to be a non-profit thing. We are here to talk about racism, to speak up against racism in the most loving way. As you can see from the title, my skin color complements yours. Your skin color complements mine. I think it's a beautiful thing to talk about skin color in this direction, rather than fighting with one another, rather than being hostile to one another, or rather than trying to feel superior than the other. We can sit down and have a conversation on how we can make this world a better place for everybody. No supremacy for everybody. So take the time, share this live stream, come join me if you can, or watch this as a replay. And please do not forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. We need to know how this is sitting in with you, how you are feeling about this. So share. Sorry. Okay, so share, please, with others, and give me your feedback. I will be most grateful to know how this is landing for you right now as we speak, or in the future. Would you like to have such conversation? Today's topic is how to educate kids on racism. So take a few minutes, share, like, prepare your questions, and come join me. So, yeah, we are back, and I hope you took the time to think about how to educate your kids on racism. Let's give people a few minutes to come join us. If this is the very first time you're watching me live, my name is Lillian Mole, and I bring to the table the best of two continents, Africa and Europe. So come, let's talk about racism in the most positive way so we can heal and move on. We can heal and love each other just like we were created to be and do. There is a way of coming out of this situation in the most positive way. We do not want to see this in the next 400 years. Well, we won't see this. But what word are we leaving behind for our children? I would take the time as well to share, please. Take the time to share with your family and friends, and come join me as I will share a few tips with you today. So let's take the time to share. Voila. Please share. Voila, shared. Oh, let me do this as well right here. I would love to know how this is landing for you, because it's a delicate subject topic and people do not want to talk about it. So I really, really, really would appreciate if you would take the time to think about it, to share with your family and friends, and to take the opportunity that this is not only going to be some kind of history again, that we're going to make changes, we're going to improve, we are going to leave a better world for our children. So yeah, I've just invited a few people to come join us. So yeah, let's give them some few minutes. Please, please. It's important that we have this discussion. It's important that we think of how we want to carry on with our lives. I will just put this here. Hold on for a minute. Good. Why is this? Okay, good. Perfect. Share with your family and friends. And today's quote, as we carry on with this conversation while people join us, today's quote is from Kofi Annan, which says, "We may have different religions, different languages, different skin color, but we all belong to one human race." We all belong to one human race. So why the hate? Why the fighting? Why the looting? Why the supremacy if we all belong to one human race? It's because of bias. The things that we were handed over as history, the things that Black people went through, the things that white people are doing to Black people. But let's not forget that, yes, all these things happened, but we cannot continue like this. We definitely cannot continue like this. Life cannot go on like this. This is not the kind of world we want to leave for our children. This is not the legacy that we want to leave for our children and the next generation. So let's remember that we have different religions, we have different languages, different skin color, but we all belong to one human race. One human race. So how do we go about teaching our children on racism? How do we talk to our children on racism, about racism? How do we explain to them? I have a few points to share with you today, and I hope you would bear with me. I hope you would think about it, how you can implement this in your family. And it's not only to children, it could also be to adults. The first tip I have for you is, when you're talking about racism with your children, the best tip I have, the first thing one should ever do is to teach or read history books on humanity. We need to know our roots. We need to know what happened hundreds of years ago. When we know this history, we become more tolerant because we seem to understand where things kind of changed. Kids need to have this at a very young age. Without trying to force this on them, they just need to read what history is about, how the skin color changed, where Africa is, because there are some people who don't know where Africa is. Some people think Africans are still living on trees, they are monkeys, all this kind of stuff. So please, the first tip for you today is to teach or read books on humanity to your children. Tip number 2, we adults, we try to trick our children, we try to sneak around words, we try to make it pleasant for them when we tell them stuff like this. In my opinion, gently and lovingly, we need to be honest with our kids and answer them truthfully. The thing is, skin color exists. Looking at me right now, I'm not white, I'm Black. If I look at my children, they are not Black, they are brown because they are mixed. Looking at their family, my family, they are Black. Looking at their dad's family, they are white. That skin color exists. And even among the Blacks, you have Blacks that are really Black, those who are brownish Black, or completely different. So let's not try to say, oh, it's the sun, or it's not true. It's just no. We really have to, when we go through history, then they can catch up and see where things change and not, and then they'll get to know we all belong to one human race. It all started the same, but due to migration, things change. So please, let's not undermine or let's not underestimate kids and try to sneak around words to make them comfortable simply because we are uncomfortable. They need to know this truth at a very young age. They need to understand this very, very quickly because it helps to build their own personality. It helps them present themselves correctly in public. So please, that's my tip number 2. Tip number 3. Tip number 3. Let's acknowledge and explain the reality of white privilege. This is another reality and it's a truth. It's a fact. We cannot hide this fact from them because they will sooner or later, they start wondering why this fact, this part of the conversation was kept away from them. When we tell them about white privilege, it makes them realize that we are treating one race better than the other. Then they get to decide if this is fair, if this is not fair, why this happened, and how we can change this. When we give kids the right tools at the right age and accompany them through to the adolescent until they become adults, I really think that we can benefit more from a positive impact rather than waiting for them to be ready. Then we tell them, oh, this is it, or for them to be confronted by a situation, then we have to explain. I know there's another theory where we have to meet people where they are at, but when we are talking of kids, when we are talking of children, it's our responsibility to guide them, to help them see the light through our own eyes. Kids copy. Kids mirror what their parents do. So if we can guide them at a very young age through history, through humanity, by being honest with them and telling them the truth about skin color, telling them that skin color does exist. There is white, as you can see. They are not stupid. They can see that. But we really have to really take the time to guide them and really explain the truth, tell them the truth. I remember I had a conversation with my son because there was one documentary on TV and there was a white person who had so much land in Africa and the Africans had to work for him. And then I just said, but how is this possible that this white person in Africa owns all of this land and the people themselves are still poor and have to work for him? And I remember my son crying and I said, oh, did daddy take from Africans? I said, no, not daddy, but history. And some people have taken away in an unhuman way. Then I got to explain how it happened, what's happening, and how I think it could be dealt with in a more positive way. So I really, 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 really appreciate you for joining on this amazing conversation. Please share. Share with your family and friends, and please come share with me. I can share with you the link or comment on how you think we can educate children on racism. I'll put again back this intro for you so we can really think about it, how responsible we should be after what has happened to George Floyd. So thank you all so much for joining me. I would like to know where you're watching this live stream from. My name is Lillian Mole, and I bring the best of two continents to the table, Africa and Europe. So today we're talking about how to educate kids on racism. And I shared with you before the quote of the day, which says, we may have different religion, different language, different skin color, but we all belong to one human race. And that's from Kofi Annan. And my very first tip I gave on how to educate kids on racism is to teach or read history books on humanity to them. When we start early, when we start giving them this knowledge, these facts, then they kind of think for themselves. Kids are our responsibility. Children are our responsibility. We have to guide them through our eyes. You don't want to let your child be confronted by this situation. Then you have to explain. That's like education backwards. Let's try to do it forward. Let's play it forward. Tell them what you know. Give them these books. And they start thinking for themselves. My second tip was be honest with your kids and answer them truthfully. Skin color is real. As you can see right now, I am black. There is another person watching, is white. That's a reality. That's a reality. And we can explain to them. If you first explain to them history and humanity through books or documentaries, they can see at what point things change through migration. Tip number 3 was, let's acknowledge and explain the reality of white privilege. It exists. It is a reality. It's not a myth. It's not something that's hidden. It is a reality. And you can witness this every single day of your life if you really want to see it and be honest about it. So please be honest. Be honest. And my last tip for you today is to be a role model. Kids mirror what their parents are doing. When you treat somebody of the other color differently, they watch you, they see you, and they replicate. End of story. This is what I know. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. End of story. So it's our responsibility to show, to be the model of something positive, but also be truthful about it. Where it hurts, you have to say it. You have to be that model for them because you are responsible for them, and also because you really don't want a world full of negativity, a world full of hate, and that's why we're all here. So thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure spending these few minutes with you. And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It is growing. We're trying to put this together. So join me, help me, spread the word for me. Do not forget to like our page. We need you. Let me just put the page in the comments so you can then directly click on the page and give us your feedback. What landed for you? How are you raising your kids? How are you educating your kids on racism? Do you talk about it? Do you shy away from it? Or do you just leave that to circumstance? If it comes up, if this situation arises, then you deal with it. I would love to hear from you. Your feedback, your input, your feelings. Do you feel hurt that we are having this channel and having this conversation? I heard on TV that somebody said, a white lady from the US said, oh, if all Africans would have been killed, we wouldn't have had this problem today. I really need to know who this person is, what her life is, because if you were a happy person, if you were a successful person, you wouldn't say such crap. It could be the other way around. If there were no white people, the world would have been a better place. That's so stupid. Either way. So we need each other. We need all skin color. This is the beauty of the world. And we should be celebrating this beauty. We should be celebrating diversity instead of hating, suppressing for years and thinking people will stay like this forever. No, things change, people evolve, people revolt. And this is what is happening right now. But we are going to come out of this. We are going to come out of this with the most beautiful result. It is my dream that my kids one day sit and say, I'm proud that I had a mother who took upon herself to talk about this with love. I'm proud because it shows me that I was brought to the world with love, from love. and I'm loved. So I hope we'll have many people on this channel. I hope many of us will come together with time. No rush. Racism is not going anywhere. It's only you and I that might get tired and get bored about it, but we have the time. The time to create a better world, the time to come together, the time to talk about what hurts, the time to heal, and the time to move on in the most positive way. Thank you so much. My name is Leland Mole, and I'll catch you in the next live stream. Do take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.